The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Greetings. It's the bonus show. And we have Hillary Clinton in studio. No, I'm just kidding. We don't. Although she funds the program personally, you know.
As we learned earlier this week.
Yeah, it's just bad optics for her to be on the program. I want to talk about the Olympics a little bit. And so I just have a huge problem with this. And maybe people will agree with me. I had this discussion with someone recently, and I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe it was you. I can't remember now. But Michael Phelps.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't you?
No.
The most celebrated Olympian, maybe in U.S. history. More medals than anyone, right?
I have no idea because I just do not care about the Olympics. But yeah, I know he has a lot of medals.
He may be the most awarded Olympian of all time.
Okay. Maybe. I like that language.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
My problem with this is that if you do shot put, there's one shot put event.
Right.
If you're a sprinter, you're either long or short distance. You may have.
If you're a runner, there's either long or short distance. Yeah.
You may have one or two events.
I see what you're getting at.
Gymnastics, there are a few events. Air rifle, okay, maybe a couple. But swimming, there are so many different swimming events. And when you're a good swimmer, you have so many more opportunities to win medals. I mean, is Michael Phelps really the most athletic person to ever partake in the Olympics? I mean, you've got like the 100-meter butterfly, the 200-meter butterfly, the 100 freestyle, the 200 freestyle.
Yeah.
There's like, I don't know how many of these.
I think you're making a great point. And I was thinking about this in the context of basketball and soccer. You basically have a mini World Cup where teams play a full tournament.
Yeah.
And a gold medal. I mean, yeah, every player on the team, physically every player on the team gets a gold medal. But there is a single gold medal to be achieved in men's Olympic soccer. And then in swimming, you can just show up and get 5 medals in the course of a couple of days. And but the thing is, so much is arbitrary about the Olympics. Even which sports are included and excluded from one year to another is something that I've been disturbed by for a long time. I mean, why is curling a sport that is an Olympic sport? And I don't know, pick whatever, anything that isn't, you know?
Is darts an Olympic sport?
I don't know, actually.
Maybe it should be.
Sure. I mean, why not? Yeah, I don't know. I used to really be more into the Olympics more as a sort of general thing. Oh, there's the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony and this, that, the other thing. And every year I get less into it. First, because it destroys the cities by and large that it's in. It does damage to communities that are impoverished and pushes them out. We've seen this time and again. That's number one. But also just the entire arbitrary nature, the doping epidemics, just everything about it. I really find myself caring less and less about it. And this is another element. Yeah, is someone who gets 5 medals instead of the Olympic soccer team, which only has the opportunity to win at most 1, but they might play a whole bunch of soccer games. And you could say, well, who cares if it's a better athlete? These are just different sports by their very nature. That's it. Individual and team sports are different. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I care less and less about the Olympics as well. Almost anything where awards are given out, I find myself caring less and less about it. I mean, when I was young, I thought the Oscars was great.
Yeah, I loved it.
And I'm so repulsed and infuriated by the Oscars every year now that I refuse to watch it. I don't care about any type of, I don't care who's won the medals. I don't care who's nominated. I do not care at all. And the same applies to just about any award show for me.
Wow.
Would you agree with that?
What about the Met Olympics?
That's just some small thing here in Western Massachusetts. That's just for fun, really.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there are no bigger forces at play in the Met Olympics. But you know what's funny is that you've got the music awards, the Grammys, right?
That's the music awards. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a total joke, of course.
Absolutely.
It's a total joke. But what
I want to translate, what you're saying is the award is not truly a reflection of what the best music is.
Right. Right. And it's just the whole thing is just a circus. I mean, it's like the musicians, the genres, the artists that are excluded just because they don't sell as many records.
Right.
It's so dumb. But in response to all of that, there was this whole thing created called the Golden God Awards, and it was supposed to be about the metal. Right. It was
It's all about the metal.
And for a very short time it was, but immediately it was all like pop metal.
Oh.
And all these garbage bands, and
God forbid, pop metal. How dare they?
it just turned, I mean, stuff designed to sell.
What
I
is
mean,
pop metal anyway?
pop metal is like Avenged Sevenfold
Oh, they're considered pop metal.
and Metallica, basically.
Metallica is pop metal.
And Metallica, if you ask a devoted and dedicated metalhead, they will tell you that pre-Black Album, Metallica was a metal band.
Is that what they'll tell you?
And then they just they started writing music that was more accessible.
Okay.
There's a famous quote, famous, I find it obnoxious. And someone asked Lars Ulrich, whatever, however you pronounce it.
Metallica's drummer.
Yeah. They say you sold out. And he said, yeah, we sold out. Every show, like every seat, every time.
Right.
And I agree with that. They did.
Yeah.
Good for them. And now the Golden Gods is just, I mean, it's just as repulsive and obnoxious as...
It's been taken over.
Taken over. Anyway, okay, let's move on to something even more depressing.
Yeah.
There is this family of 5, murder-suicide.
Right.
A mother and father, 3 children, this Pennsylvania family. There was a pistol found at the scene. I don't have a ton of details on what happened, but it's clear that either one or both parents were involved in this. Everyone was shot, and then at least one of the shooters was killed himself. And you hear this and you just think, okay, well, this is a clear case of maybe it's a cult family, maybe it's some weird religious thing. I don't know. But this family had been in the headlines multiple times. Their youngest daughter has some nasty condition, the youngest child, that forced her to receive a heart transplant
Right.
at a very young age. And after the heart transplant, you need certain medication to make sure that the body doesn't reject the heart.
Yeah.
A very, very bad situation. So I believe this daughter was 2 at the time that this murder-suicide happened. They had a great deal of difficulty obtaining medication for the child on time.
Yep.
And this is what I'm going to get into after, the whole thing about the medication. The mom wrote that she suffered from PTSD as a result of the treatments and the surgery and all of this stuff.
Right.
And this is neighbors were saying that she was going to leave the husband. There might have been a lot of drama. Well, you can imagine what this type of situation will do to a family, especially the stress of having to get the medication, and that's what I'm getting into next. So
yeah, and so when I read that line about neighbors said that the wife was planning to leave the husband,
you think that might have triggered the whole thing?
well, no. My thought was, we know that so many divorces are over finances.
Yeah.
And how might a family that is in this situation, difficulty getting treatment, difficulty getting medication, we know that medical bankruptcy is basically unique to the United States when it comes to developed countries. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine a pretty clear line where it's for-profit healthcare, leads to financial problems, leads to this divorce, leads to a murder-suicide, potentially.
Yeah. So the thing with the medicine is this. I guess at about 1, the daughter had to have, or younger, a heart transplant.
Right.
And if the daughter were to miss a single dose of this medication, it would probably mean death. But for some reason, these drugs, which are some of the most expensive drugs on the planet,
Right.
are so fiercely and strictly regulated by not only the pharmaceuticals, but by pharmacies as well that may be owned by pharmaceutical companies. And this just led to, I can't imagine the mental the mental havoc this was because of this. She could not order, the mother, a refill until her monthly supply was 3/4 gone. Processing the refill takes 7 days.
Right.
This is something you need to get every month or as soon as it's done.
I mean, basically, the system is created so that the window for ordering and obtaining the medication is incredibly slim. I
Yeah.
mean, basically what you're saying is you have to order your next month's supply, what's
3 weeks in.
75%? 22 days into your 30-day supply, and it takes 7 days to get it. And what if you're somewhere where it snows and there's a day or two delay in getting people packages? This is the system that we have.
Mm-hmm. And there's a quote here saying, "You just feel like every month you're hoping that they don't mess it up." Now, imagine just all the details and tiny little things that could get messed up
Sure.
in this entire process.
Insurance glitch and it's not authorized, so it gets delayed by a day.
Yeah.
Something happens in the distribution center. Something happens with the delivery system. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. She's dealing with a specialty pharmacy, which is now this New York Times article about this family is a year old.
Yeah.
A specialty pharmacy, a new breed of drug dispensary that has arisen to handle the exploding number of medicines that cost tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, used to treat complex conditions.
Right.
So this is the type of medication that's so expensive that it accounts for a massive percentage of just these, a handful of medications.
Yeah.
Account for a massive percentage of all medications sold, money-wise. And there's a boom in the specialty pharmacy business. $78 billion in sales, from $20 billion in 2005. So in 2014, $78 billion in sales.
Yep.
$20 billion in 2005. Even then, that's incredible. And insurers, pharmacy benefit managers, hospitals, retail drugstores, even supermarkets are trying to acquire specialty pharmacies or expand the ones they have. A lot of money to be made, I guess. And there are just a number of problems with these pharmacies themselves. And this is a really long New York Times article.
Worth reading, though.
It's fascinating. And it's just really more of the same. I mean, the entire system.
Yeah.
You've got the entire for-profit system. Wow.
It's crazy. This is not an example of the super, super, super expensive, but of the relatively expensive. My dad has multiple myeloma, which is similar to leukemia in some ways. And he monthly takes, I believe it's a 20-day cycle of a medication called Revlimid. It's an oral medication. I believe it's $800 a pill. So 800 times 20, I think that's $16,000, right? And it's one of these situations
Basically
where
a month.
For $16,000 a month, insurance does pay for it. Now, good news,
Yeah.
Insurance has paid for it for years, and they continue to pay for it. But it is this type of thing where it is highly regulated by a specialty pharmacy. They don't just leave it on your doorstep, right? When you're talking about $16,000 in pills every single month, you can only get it refilled. You have to personally call. It's this very complicated system, and this is not even nearly the most expensive at all.
Yeah. And you have to assume why are these medications so strictly controlled? It's not like this is something that someone is going to steal to get high.
No, it's not an
It's all-
amphetamine or anything. Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just all about controlling the astronomically high prices of these medications.
Right.
And that's nutty. That's nutty. Do you know how much your dad's policy is a month?
No, I mean, he's part of a family policy
Yeah.
with his wife, and it's
Yeah.
like family health insurance. It's probably $450 a month or something like that, and
I would say at least, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, the
No,
policy.
that's probably about right. Actually.
It's not now impacted. At this point, it's like the policy. You can't just raise someone's policy
Yeah.
because they're using it a lot.
Yeah.
In Massachusetts, you haven't been able to for a while, fortunately.
Yeah.
But
But there are no cheap policies in Massachusetts, really.
There
I
are
mean,
very few cheap policies. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's an
I got the
insane
cheapest
system.
one I could find, and that's still over $200 a month.
I
Yeah.
think in Mass, the cheapest you might be able to get like a catastrophic only coverage. Maybe I think it's 190, something like that. I mean, of course, nothing essentially is covered.
Yeah. It's bad, real bad. All right.
That's it.
Yep.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.